Today we're going to be talking about how keyboard and mouse is on console. Let's get into it. So on my most recent video about the PS5 Slim, I did have a question come up asking me how keyboard and mouse was on console. Now I really wanted to make a video about this as it was, and this comment kind of prompted me to do so. Now recently I invested in a mini keyboard and a mechanical one that's very clicky, and I've had a gaming mouse for a while. But I am someone who likes a keyboard and mouse just functioning most things around a UI. Like, for example, when you're in the menus of a game, keyboard and mouse is just so much quicker than using a controller because you can just move the mouse really quickly. I also think aiming in Call of Duty and games like Fortnite is also very easy. It makes life a lot easier. But how is the experience actually on these consoles? Now, this has only recently been a thing where they've been supported natively. This is mainly because of Fortnite. Now, Fortnite has actually made it so that a lot of other game companies kind of followed in their footsteps by allowing keyboard and mouse support on something that wasn't a computer. Now, this was really, really rare before Fortnite did this, and loads of other games were not doing this at the time. So it has been a massive change for game developers to make, and it's also been quite an interesting change for the console industry because it means that you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a really expensive keyboard and mouse if you don't want to. It also means you don't have to go out and buy a really expensive computer to be able to play keyboard and mouse games. It does mean that people can play keyboard and mouse still without having to fork out the money. Now, going around the UI on an Xbox and PlayStation does work on a keyboard and mouse. Now, it just works in a different way. I say on the Xbox, obviously, the Wing key, where it would normally take you to the Windows menu, takes you to the Xbox menu, but on the PlayStation, it doesn't actually do this. I'm going to throw over some video now of what I mean by this. So, as we can see here, on the PlayStation, functioning around the menus sort of works, not as well, and you'll notice that in both of these clips, the mouse is not usable at all. You cannot use it in the main UI. Now it's slightly different on the Xbox. When you get onto Microsoft Edge, you can use the mouse, but other than that, you can't use it throughout any of the other UI, only in games. So each game has to make their own individual cursor because basically, obviously, Xbox and PlayStation don't have one, so they do have to make one. But it does mean that when you get into games, you're going to have a slightly different feel on your mouse because you're going to have to adjust your sensitivity for each different game. It also means you're going to have to adjust your binds for every single different game. It also means you're going to have to get used to different pointers, different styles of pointers. But other than that, there's not much difference when you get into games. It's just going around the UI when things can be slightly janky and you have to use either the arrow keys or the enter key. But if you've got a mini keyboard, you don't have arrow keys, the keyboard is basically going to be pretty much useless going around the UI. So do consider that if you are going to get a keyboard and mouse. Do I think that keyboard and mouse can be solely used on console? No, I don't. I think that you have to have a controller and a keyboard and mouse to be able to function in these consoles. And that's just because going around the UI doesn't work as well. Going around some games, really, it does require you to have a controller still, because a lot of games that you're going to play aren't obviously supporting keyboard and mouse. Because let's say that it's a small indie game, most of them are not going to support it because it's not what they're going for. It's not the type of UI they want. But whereas on the games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, both of them support it. So does Minecraft. They all support it. Other than big game GTA. GTA have not transferred over their keyboard and mouse controls, which I do think is a shame because I think for a lot of people, they want to play GTA keyboard and mouse, but they can't. And I definitely do think that's a shame because I think console people are missing out on a lot of features in game. Like, when you get into most games on PC, you can actually have a chat window where you can all chat together and you can basically type to each other in the game. You can't do that on console because, number one, there's no binds for it because there's not enough buttons. And number two, it would take too long to type on a controller. Now, this does certainly move me into keyboard and mouse is now working on most games. Why are people still stuck on controller? Now, this is, I feel like, a question that a lot of people ask is, well, a lot of people should be using keyboard and mouse. It's obviously the better platform, more buttons, better accuracy on the mouse. Yeah, I get that. But for me, I've been a console gamer my whole of my life, and I can barely use a keyboard and mouse when it comes to games. And that's mainly because there's so many buttons, I don't know what to click. Now, for a lot of people out there that play keyboard and mouse for most of their life, I genuinely just find I just struggle. And I think that for a lot of people, that is the same. You panic, you start moving things around. Now, this is definitely in Fortnite. I cannot build to save my life. But if I go into a game like Call of Duty, aiming and shooting is a lot easier on keyboard and mouse than it is on a controller. Just because you can get that way more actually, you're not using a tiny little stick, you're using your whole hand to aim. This does mean that less people are going to be using keyboard and mouse, and it also is just a very big investment to make because to get a decent keyboard and mouse, you're at least looking at 50 to 100 pounds. So you've got to think, for a lot of people, that doesn't make sense. They could just go out and buy another new controller, or they could put that towards a game. So it does make it difficult for a lot of people. But whether or not you should be playing keyboard and mouse on a console, it definitely works. And I definitely think it's good that games are finally starting to support this because I'm glad that keyboard and mouse is now being supported, because it does mean that a lot of people, it gives them a taste of what PC is going to be like before they actually get a PC, or if they never want to get a PC. But and which platform is better on keyboard and mouse? That is the big question. I definitely have to say, in terms of games, it's really down to the game developer and what they do. And UI definitely is sort of the same for both of them, because you can't use the mouse. There's no mouse in the UI, and I found that really strange that they didn't incorporate a way to function the UI without the keyboards. My final thoughts on what keyboard and mouse is like, if you should do it, I definitely have to say, if you're thinking of making the switch as it is and you have a console, buy keyboard and mouse, because you're going to need that if you get a PC anyway. But it's also a really good warm-up, because you can practice, you can also see if you like it before dropping the money, and you can also make sure that you're getting the right peripherals, because a lot of people will buy these massive keyboards that are non-mechanical and will hate it and think the keyboard and mouse is terrible, it sounds bad, it is bad, it doesn't work as well. But if people find the right keyboards, they find the right setup and find something that's right for them, then I definitely think keyboard and mouse is going to be a good option for you. Now, keyboard and mouse is very different to controller, and it does mean that it's going to take a big jump and something big to get used to. But once you've done it and you've learned it, a lot of people end up loving it and do not turn back. So do consider that, but also don't just completely drop your console, because controller gaming can still be very good in games like driving simulators or going to bed in the evenings and just wanting to play a chill game. So there's definitely different use cases. I definitely think as a hybrid system, console is one of the best for if you want to have keyboard and mouse and controller functioning together, because a lot of games also let you use the controller and the keyboard and mouse at the same time. So it's actually a really, really good feature. And I definitely say, if you're thinking of switching over to keyboard and mouse, give it a go on console and then maybe get a PC. But to you, the person that asked me the question, yes, keyboard and mouse works brilliantly on these devices in-game. And I honestly think that if you want to get one for your console, definitely give it a go. Because obviously if it's hooked up directly to your console, you're also going to get less latency than with the controller. So it's definitely worth it. But if you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. It's been Harry. I'm out. Peace. If you are here and you actually made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate that. Now, I just want to say thank you for 300 subscribers. This year has been absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, we are coming up to the end of 2023. I do have some slight plans to make a video at the end of the year just to say thank you to everyone. I don't expect it to do well, but I'm expecting that, you know, some people will watch it just to show my, you know, gratitude and thanks for everyone that's helping me basically make this kind of cool YouTube thing actually become reality. I'm hoping next year we can reach 1,000 subscribers, but I'm going to save this for the video that's coming out at the end of the year. But yeah, thank you for the support I've been getting recently. I really do appreciate that. It's been Harry. I'm out. Peace.